The announcers are Michael Cole and Wade Barrett for the whole show, and we're starting off with the Women's Royal Rumble, where they announce every 90 seconds new entrants will be entering, and we start off with the Friends of Convenience, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Uh-oh. The luck of the draw here. They end up starting together, and boy, did we get some 90 seconds of just amazing friendship in action. I would hope, Wade, that if you and I ever started a Royal Rumble, this would be our moveset that we would employ on one another. Bliss wants to just wait out the clock for number 3, and then each goes after the other, but lets them up like they're just fooling around, including a Sister Abigail tease, a figure 8 tease, and then they hug at the end of this. Heartwarming.
They try, and I think for a certain section of the audience, maybe it's still working. But for me, this whole like we're trying to pretend we're not friends, but we are really best friends shtick, I think has been pretty tough to watch for a while.
Yeah, I didn't think this was off to a great start. I felt this was just a waste of time, but I'm going to be told that this was like cinema or something. Number 3 was Kiana James, who Wade Barrett, he had some great lines on this show. One of them being, Kiana is not one of the favorites to win. Like, okay, loud and clear. I've heard this. And so it's 2-on-1 with Bliss and Charlotte. 4th is Nia Jax. And I did enjoy, like, this is continued kind of in the Lee Fitting era of, if there is a match that is able to be to cross over with real sports and the reliance on stats, this match is one of them. And they make great utilization of the ticker. There's constant stats, how many people have been out, how many eliminations there are, and getting all these little facts about each person as they enter. I like that about both Rumbles.
Yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm. It started, I think, years ago, but now they continue to evolve it. I think there's probably even more they could do with that ticker.
So, of course, this being Saudi Arabia, we have all of the women in the outfits. Probably quite the task for all the seamstresses out there. And so Nia Jax is out, and she looks toward the crowd and starts doing the suck it gesture.
It's because they were chanting "You can't wrestle," and I guess Nia was telling them what she thought of them.
I'm just wondering what would have been more offensive if she had like showed off her arm or like showing like, yeah, suck it.
I guess you could get away with a whole lot, except
okay. I'm just trying to get all the rules out here. Ivy Nile is out 5th, and miraculously she got quite a lot of "You suck" chants in the style of Kurt Angle.
Yeah, I'm guessing this is just a takeoff of the whole Chad Gable theme and therefore Kurt Angle theme. I'm
just amazed Ivy Nile got any type of reaction when she came out. I mean, she's kind of disappeared again from television. Wade does remind us of her Pitbull mentality. And that takes us to number 6, Lola Vice, the first of many NXT women that were in this match as they promoted her triple threat North American title match on Tuesday. And she immediately is hitting her rapid fire kicks and goes for her hip attack as Wade yells that she can shake it like a Polaroid picture.
Thank you, Wade. Thank you. Yes. 20-year-old. Well, it's still relevant, of course. I thought she got a pretty decent reaction. Really, like most of the NXT stars, like kind of had that special attraction, feeling attached to them. And she got a good reaction. I thought her kicks looked tremendous as usual.
Yes, as I learned on this broadcast, this crowd, like, they were pretty involved when it came to, like, they knew all the NXT people. They don't watch any AAA. That was my conclusion.
AAA, not so much. And I think if you're in the mid card of SmackDown, they might not care that much for you either.
Well, that tag division is rough. Yeah. 7th is Candice LeRae, who reunites with Nia Jax. What a reunion, Way.
They were trying to build this up in ring as if it was like something we were all supposed to remember. I have zero recollection.
Like, I know this existed, but it occupies nothing in my memory bank.
No one remembers this relationship. No.
8th is Jordan Grace. And is this new? This like line off the top of her new theme? It's not over till I win.
I don't remember. I could have sworn she had the sirens. Did she still have sirens? I don't know.
I don't remember this line being off the top, but I learned that this match is still ongoing because she did not win this match.
Neil brought up last night how, this has been an ongoing issue with prior Rumbles, especially the women's Rumbles, where like very few, not many of them have like recognizable theme songs. And half of the themes we heard here, I don't know if we would have heard prominently like on many broadcasts. So you're left kind of wondering, who is this again? What is this? And
I felt like an idiot for some of these because I went to type for some of these. This person has a new theme. And then I started thinking, I was like, these might not be new themes.
No.
I just don't know if Austin Theory has been coming out to this. This has been his singles theme forever. I have no idea.
Yeah. Case in point, when it comes to like, people being not on the main roster, perhaps getting a bigger reaction, like Jordynne Grace got less of a reaction for her entry this year than she did when she entered as the TNA Knockouts champion. So, I mean, what does that tell you about maybe spending a year in NXT where I don't know she really gained all that much? But I mean, there is something to be said about like feeling a bit more special being, from crossing a forbidden door of some sort. But, at this point, Grace, I don't think has been that well integrated into the show yet.
Well, Grace does get a couple of eliminations here. The first of the match, sending out Candice LeRae and Lola Vice, if you had them in your pool. Then she dumps out Ivy Nile with this uppercut, and Jax goes on to the edge with Alexa Bliss, and Flair boots Jax out, but in doing so, also knocks Alexa Bliss out, her partner.
Yeah, she looked really sad about that.
Yes. So 9th is Becky Lynch. And so we get the showdown between Becky and Charlotte Flair. Sol Ruca is 10th, and she ends up, Sol Ruca lasts right until the end of this. So they let her be in she got one of the biggest spotlights of this whole Rumble as well. And she did the springboard buckshot lariat to enter the ring, hitting Charlotte Flair and Kiana James before squaring off with Becky. Roxanne Perez is in 11th after she set the record for the longest time in any women's Rumble last year. Maxine Dupree is 12th, and she goes right after Becky and hits a German. And then number 13, as Michael Cole tells us, Wade, it's not Natalya, it's Natty.
That's right. Yes. Her proper debut under this character with like the theme music and everything.
I'm going to recognize the proper debut as her Instagram post this week.
Oh, did she do a proper? Okay. I did not see that. All right.
Oh, you're in for a treat if you.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that very unfortunate photo.
Yes.
I gotta bring this up.
This is one, like, maybe if we add like most puzzling social media decisions of the year, nothing's topping this. This is the Tanahashi Okada of that award.
I can't believe she. I can't.
For those that are listening to this, and I'm sure you've probably seen this, this is an upright Natty standing up, urinating on a gravestone that reads WWE Superstar Natalya. That leaves you with so many more questions than any answer could provide.
I mean, if the goal is to become provocative, I suppose she managed that, but I don't know if that's necessarily. I don't know. Yeah,
too many questions.
Yeah. This feels it's like a total divas episode where like she's going back and forth, like she's trying to come up with the best social media strategy to introduce this new character, and like Jim Neidhart would have like or like her mother would have somehow like recommended this, and then
what happens when Bruce Hart learns AI and steals a phone?
Right. Yeah.
So out comes Natty, and Maxine gets hit with a manhandle slam, and it's just thrown out by Becky. I mean, Maxine is totally forgettable here. And then Becky goes for Natty after trying to like work with her, and then begs off as Natty just lifts up Becky and dumps her out. Kind of like an unceremonious exit for Becky, who's only in this match for a couple of minutes. And I would say after this, it felt much less of a Natty Maxine focus than Natty Becky Lynch.
Well, she stated in her prior promo of wanting to go for Becky's IC championship, so they're just seemingly speeding that up. But I have to say, I felt like the elimination itself probably needed a little bit more struggle or a little bit more drama or just a little bit more flash. The way it was positioned really like
Becky, you could argue was like at worst the second or third biggest name in this whole Rumble, and it was just sort of a kind of in and out. And
it wasn't I get the booking. You want to make Natalya look like the monster and just like lift Becky over the top rope, but it almost felt like too cooperative. Like if Becky Lynch, this just wouldn't make sense, right? So I think it needed to be a bit more of a struggle just to even be a bit more memorable.
Liv Morgan is 14th, and then 15th is Lash Legend, who was another big feature in this Royal Rumble, who they were going to look to make a big statement with, and Legend immediately eliminates Jordynne Grace. Zelina Vega is 16th. Sadly, she came out to no reaction. And what was weird here is that this was one of those weird disappearing last names a few months ago when she went from Zelina Vega to Zelina. And her video, as she comes out, reads Zelina Vega. But in her graphic, and as has been the case for months, she is just referred to as Zelina.
I think there are a lot of inconsistencies with her because, frankly, she's just not that important of a character at present time. Like she's the manager for Aleister Black at present, and she doesn't even have updated music. Like her music is, the same Megan Thee Stallion ripoff that she's had for like since before the character changed to the Aleister Black, type of darker role, and they haven't updated it. So you have like gothy font and graphics and what feels more of a gothy look, and then like a Megan Thee Stallion ripoff rap song playing in the background.
Yeah, I mean, she's had a struggle these last couple of months because there was a period they had something with Zelina, and that has been lost. Raquel Rodriguez is 17th, so now we have all three Judgment Day members in with Perez and Liv. And Raquel boots Kiana James, who had lasted quite a while in this Rumble, and this is the most noteworthy thing Kiana has done on the main roster. And the Judgment Day have a group hug. 18th is Chelsea Green, and of all the outfits, hers was the best. It was made out of newspaper headlines, and comes out and tries to align with the Judgment Day, but gets rejected and is involved in a tug of war as Elba Fire gets pulled into the ring. Elba Fire got thrown over like 100 times, even though she's not in the match. And then Julia was 19th. She used to be wrestling in Japan. She was with Stardom, and then she went to NXT, and she's been on the main roster for most of 2025 and is on her second reign as Women's U.S. Champion.
Cool. Interesting. I look forward to seeing a lot more of her.
Yeah, well, it's early stages, so we're going to learn a lot more about her in the weeks to come. Io Sky was 20th, followed by Asuka at 21, and Sky, Asuka, and Julia all go at it as Michael Cole just getting ready from Stardom and Pro Wrestling Wave to the WWE.
Yeah.
His favorite, the Joshi head, Michael Cole. Rhea Ripley is 22nd, might have been the biggest reaction of anyone in this Women's Rumble. They went nuts for Rhea Ripley. And Wade Barrett emphasizes how big of a star she is, noting that you've got to be a really big star to get pyro for a Royal Rumble entrance. So that's how,
sure. Yeah, that works.
a big deal. Mm-hmm. Vega gets eliminated by Arrivederci by Julia on the apron. Rhea pretends to salute Chelsea and then tosses her out with Elba Fire. And then Rhea stops a Pop Rocks and delivers a Razor's Edge, sending Roxanne over the top to the floor for the elimination. Bayley is out 23rd. Charlotte has been in this the whole time since number one. She has surpassed 41 minutes at this point. And we're also getting several elimination teases by Sol Ruka, kind of our pretty much. There is the Iron Man or woman, there is the monster role to rack up eliminations, and there's the Kofi Kingston role as well. That's another role that we should, we got Javon Evans and Sol Ruka playing those roles in these matches. JC Jane, the NXT Women's Champion, is 24th coming out, and we also get another history lesson way that Natty is upset because 3 years ago, Rhea Ripley took her out on her birthday, preventing her from having a match here in Saudi Arabia.
I don't doubt that existed. It just requires a bit of reminding, and maybe they can even show us the footage at some point if they choose to go that path.
So Natty's on the outside apron and gets hit with an Oblivion. And in Liv hitting it, it bounces Natty off the ropes and sends her flying to the floor, which was quite the utilization of the Oblivion. So that was the end of Natty, not Natalya. 25th is Nikki Bella, who is met with chants of "Thank you, Cena," as she yells, "Thank me! Thank me!" February on the Post Wrestling Cafe, we continue our review of Season 2 of WWE Unreal, including a big look at Seth Rollins' fake injury, which culminated in his appearance at SummerSlam. We're going to be looking back at Shinya Hashimoto with a special career retrospective on Rewind Away, plus a review of Extreme Rules 2011, as John Cena announces to the WWE audience that Osama bin Laden has been compromised to a permanent end. We'll also take a look at New Beginning in Osaka, TNA No Surrender, and new members can take advantage of a 7-day free trial. Go to postwrestlingcafe.com and jump on board in February. Lyra Valkyria, the Bird Lady, is out 26 to work with Bailey, and they square off with Julia. 27th is Kalani Jordan, who comes in with a Phoenix splash onto JC Jane. That's how she enters. She knew, I've got like 3 minutes in this Rumble. I'm going to do as much as I possibly can. She had the right idea in mind here. 28th is Kairi Sane, who was in fact in the Rumble. Flair has now surpassed 50 minutes, and Sane and Asuka go after Rhea, and she nearly runs into Asuka. Sane is holding on to her partner and then goes for a sliding lariat, misses Io, and knocks out Asuka. I love this elimination. And Asuka throws a gasket onto Kairi, screaming her name. And then Sky throws out Sane from behind, as Wade notes, what a complete disaster for the Kabuki Warriors. So I like this. I think we're going to get the breakup of the Kabuki Warriors.
You think so? Monday?
I think so.
I feel like it's too soon.
Too soon?
I think they'll play this up a little longer. Yeah.
29th was, I guess, the kind of the outside of the NXT women, like the only like big surprise was Brie Bella, who comes out and the crowd was like, well, this is the closest we've got to Bryan Danielson. So they all just chant yes. And then she does the yes kicks as Michael Cole announced, you know who she's paying homage to? No, Michael, please tell us. Tell us, the viewers, who is she paying homage to? We can't say his name.
I mean, it was his sort of way of implying that it was paying homage to The Miz, I believe, like as a joke.
Okay.
Yeah.
She hugs
These
Nikki.
kicks look about as they always do, which is like not very good. But the worst was like Raquel Rodriguez selling them, and she's recoiling, and then Brie actually stops kicking, and she does the thing where she continues the recoil for phantom kicks even afterwards. So the whole thing did not look very good.
There was some rough stuff in this match. Like, it had its moments, but there was definitely some sloppiness in this match. What I still enjoy, and this is obviously not a new talking point, but I do love how like her big fire up is Brie mode. Like, as she's hitting all this, which is like the genesis of that is when she would get like fucking shit faced drunk, and that is the spirit animal of Brie mode.
Well, when
so maybe she's honoring like the genesis of Brie mode when she's delivering these kicks. Like, this is what these kicks would look like.
Have you ever had a fight with a drunk person? I mean, you don't want to mess with somebody like that. They have no idea. They have no way to feel pain. So this is just her channeling that. But yeah, I'm happy for her to get this moment, especially like her kids, who I don't think have ever. Well, I don't know how often her kids would have had a chance to see her wrestle.
Not since they would have been
like when was she last active? When
20,
did she last have
well, she did the comeback.
Yeah,
she's done some rumbles over the years. Yeah,
she has. Okay.
Yeah, but this is going to be like she is coming in here, and I think we're going to get the tag run here with Nikki. So I think we will get
2022. She was in the Rumble.
Right.
Yeah.
That was her last match?
Yeah, and then 2018 before that.
Gotcha. And then 30th is the returning Tiffany Stratton. So that is all of the entrance. She enters with a swanton, and Wade Barrett.
I thought Stratton's look with this white suit actually looked like really great. Like, if I would consider keeping this.
You do have to say that the outfits all looked like none of the, you would think like with this many that some people would just look identical to each other and stuff, but they all kind of had something to them. I mean, we have come a ways from the oversized pajama party that the early women's matches featured.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like the women are seemingly, they have now, for all of these Saudi events, they've kind of taken these as opportunities to like express themselves in different ways. And in many cases, I think they come to like a very like unique, creative, way of like dealing with this, if you want to call it a limitation. But in the case of like Stratton, I would actually consider adopting this look even afterwards. I thought it kind of made her stand out and made her look like a superhero.
Do you think they're just going to take all these 30 outfits and put them in like a locker in Riyadh and keep for Mania next year? Or are they going to just get all new outfits next year?
I think they'll probably want to get new outfits.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like going to an award show. You don't want to wear the same thing twice.
That's true. Wade refers to the interview he conducted with Charlotte and Tiffany last year as one of the biggest disasters of all time. They truly hate each other. And of course, Charlotte is still in the ring here.
I mean, Unreal kind of killed, any sort of believability to that.
Well, that was a work. They really do hate each other now.
Oh, right.
That's
yes,
what you're supposed to
yeah,
take from this. The crowd's really hot at this point. They're singing Olay. Brie got an enormous reaction, so that kind of elevated things here. And now we're into the closing stretch. The Bellas eliminate both Lyra and Bailey with head scissors over the top rope from like a skin the cat spot, and they. Like Nikki and Brie just start doing yes chants. I think Nikki is just a babyface now that Brie's back. I think
it was very amusing. It was amusing to see because like she comes out and she's the total heel. The crowd's chanting "Thank you, Cena." She's saying "Thank me, thank me." Brie comes in and suddenly like everybody's yesing and the team is a babyface. She as a solo is a heel apparently, but that was interesting. Yeah.
JC Jane super kicks Kalani Jordan and she's skinning the cat, and then so she's out. There's a soul snatcher to Jane. She's dumped out. And they did make a point of Sol Ruca eliminating the NXT women's champion, so maybe they'll follow up there. Lash catches both Bellas and tosses both over. This crowd was livid that the Bellas were out. There were so loud boos for Lash Legend eliminating the Bellas. Flair and Lash end up on the edge of the apron. There's chops to Lash, and then Flair gets caught with a pump kick as Lash eliminates Charlotte Flair, who lasts 59 minutes and 49 seconds, the longest in the Women's Rumble. 7 women remain. Io, God bless her. I don't know what her strategy was here. She goes for like a knee bar on Io Sky as she's hanging off of the apron, and Lash just drills her with this brutal kick to the face to eliminate Io. I thought Io was dead.
It was a pretty hard sounding thud, to the ground. And you could see
we just never saw her again. Like they didn't check in on her. It was just like this thud. And she just went so hard into the mat. Hopefully she was fine.
Hope she's okay. But I mean, listen, it made Lash Legend look amazing. So,
Lash, they made Lash look like, to me, all the stuff with Nia Jax was just kind of window dressing. This felt like the debut of Lash Legend on the main roster was this match. Rhea then clotheslines Lash, who gets eliminated, as Michael Cole calls it, after a legendary performance. And then there's a Tejana bomb as Raquel eliminates Rhea Ripley. Liv comes from behind, dumps out her teammate Raquel Rodriguez, who is pissed. And it's down to Liv, Tiffany Stratton, and Sol Ruca, who is still here. There's a PME onto Liv, double soul snatcher onto both women. All 3 women end up hanging from the top rope. They land on the edge. A lot of apron spots in this Rumble. Ruca then kicks off of the post and ends up getting sent off the apron by Tiffany Stratton. She's gone, and the close is Liv hitting an oblivion, but using the post and sending Stratton out in 67 minutes as Liv Morgan, who was the betting favorite, wins her first Royal Rumble. And it was Charlotte lasting the longest and Lash with the most eliminations with 5. I would say the strong portion of this was like the last 10 to 12 minutes or so. Crowd was very hot. They got really big reactions for Brie, for Rhea Ripley, and the closing stretch. I really enjoyed it with the final 3 of this match. But what did you think of the Rumble?
I actually felt like this Rumble dragged for most of its duration.
It did.
And to me, it really highlighted the lack of depth in the mid card. Like with low to no reactions for people like Julia, Kiana James, Alina, Maxine, Ivy Nile, Jordan Grace. And I know this is often an issue with like Rumbles, right? But it felt to me a bit more pronounced in this one, especially like to me, like this very much felt like an assessment of how neglected so much of this roster is, particularly on SmackDown. I mean, they've had airtime for a lot of these women, but that airtime has not really gone to good use. In the case of Julia and Kiana James, for instance, even Maxine, coming out of this whole Becky thing, I wouldn't necessarily say she's looked at as any sort of more serious contender, despite all the airtime that they gave her. But for me, the big turning point of this match was the return of Brie Bella, which I understand wanting to use the Rumble to give your NXT showcases and those kind of now being your surprises, but it does kind of take away that element of anybody being able to show up into these Rumbles. And so we haven't really had that sort of what the fuck moment. Not that Brie Bella is, but she's somebody who's off the roster and somebody that a secret that was pretty well guarded. I haven't seen at least the rumor. We saw Nikki Bella's ear. I guess we didn't see who was sitting next to Nikki Bella because I thought the Brie Bella actually came that entry actually felt like a surprise and it engaged this crowd. So, I thought it was a chance to pair the Bella Twins now with the rest of the modern tag division, and it was a highlight. We also had the big reintroduction of Natalya, and I thought they made effort to try to show like the power difference of this Natty versus Natalya and having her be able to stand toe to toe with Rhea Ripley, and obviously with the easy Becky elimination. Although I didn't think it looked as great, so we'll see how well they do beyond the Rumble. Last Legend, total highlight. You know, they gave her a monster push, and I thought she looked very convincing. I thought the charisma really came through, and they made this a very memorable, like what felt like a real coming out party for her.
It makes it interesting what they do with Lash after this, because I don't know what the obvious pathway is for her. Like, I don't see her in any kind of title picture. It remains to be seen what maybe the tag scene looks like, as they've tried to put a bit more emphasis on the women's tag division. And I think coming out of this, the Bellas will be in a prominent role together, I would assume, in that tag scene. The question becomes, are they coming out of this match as heels, as baby faces? Because I think that they're going to be fighting the crowd if they try to keep Nikki as a heel here when Brie is back. And I think you're going to have a similar reaction when they appear on TV together.
I think they'll have to make a decision. And the fact that like we just had Nikki do a heel turn, it feels kind of weird to have her just turn back to a baby face. My feeling is that they'll have maybe Brie pretend to be a babyface for like one night before like fully turning. But I also thought the final three was really well done. You know, taking a blonde from from all of Raw, NXT, and SmackDown, and having them like essentially like do this wonderful sequence. They almost had like a mini match all on the apron with three people, and I thought it came across really well. Sol Ruca, I thought, was also one of the big standouts in this.
She looked really good in this match, and I think that I almost feel like she's going to be one where I think they're going to want to maybe wrap her up with like the Zarya program, and maybe that's like Stand and Deliver, and she's a post-Mania call-up. I just think like there's so much going on at the moment to make her the latest. But man, they put a lot of focus on her, and this is Saturday night's main event, now in the Rumble as well.
That really is your big question. It's that like, you know, she's not... She had such a prominent role tonight, and she's really at the top of people's minds. Do you capitalize on that, or do you like, you know, risk waiting another 4 months for people to like get more familiar with her and maybe, you know, not look at her as special? I don't think that'll be the case with her. Like, you wonder if she should hold the NXT championship just to like be able to say she had that run. But I think if they debuted her tomorrow, I don't think anybody would complain. Certainly, she has the potential certainly to be the biggest star of the women's call-up. Certainly, I guess that would only include Jordan Grace at the moment, but you know, certainly more invested in Ruca right now.
The last question regarding the winner: Do you see any chance of a title change with Vaquer and Raquel on Monday? And if not, like, do you just keep this as? I think it's fairly certain it's not going to be Liv and Jade Cargill at Mania, but can you see Liv with Vaquer? Is that what you see as the direction here?
The alternative, are you suggesting Raquel winning the championship and then Liv and Raquel?
I mean, you did like the elimination here. I mean, there is an interesting story there where it's like, would Liv choose to take on Raquel at Mania? But I think the more straightforward path is Vaquer.
Yeah, I don't think Raquel is like really at this point a big enough name to like carry the championship towards the Rumble. I would still go with Vaquer over her. But I don't know if I see Vaquer holding the championship. I think there might be another path for them, and therefore maybe it'd be Liv versus somebody else. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're pretty high on Vaquer. I imagine her probably holding this belt through. But there you go. That was the Women's Royal Rumble.